All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers. This was a team that obviously playoff team the prior season. Justin Herbert's the right guy, despite that playoff debacle aside. We know Harbaugh's the right man to be the coach. Ortiz, solid GM. Now it's about getting it right this offseason. We've got a real exciting development for the Chargers here. If you corroborate all this evidence, it's obvious the Chargers are planning something massive. We'll break that down in just a second. But first, I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, so the Chargers so far have been linked to a bunch of different moves, a bunch of different opportunities. They've got the cap space, they've got the ability, they've got the talent, and they've got the opportunity. And when you break down everything that just gets reported on a daily basis, it's hard to figure out what the Chargers are going to do specifically, but it's undeniable they're going to do something massive. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This is just three reports. We literally pulled this up like 5 minutes before we started filming this. There's a million out there. You can go through all these right here. The first one's from LA Sports Hub. The Los Angeles Chargers will be one of several teams looking for a star wide receiver. If the Chargers want to go the trade route, veteran receivers like Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Christian Kirk, and Devontae Adams would all be tremendous options. And Seattle Seahawks Tyler Lockett could be the perfect under the radar option for the Chargers. So you've got a bunch of receivers all across this offseason have been linked for the Chargers to trade. You go down to the next report from SI.com. There's been a trade suggested sending Cleveland Browns Craig Newsome, their cornerback, to the Chargers. There's another trade recently that's come out that the Chargers are, again, reportedly going to be aggressive. Now they're targeting Buffalo Bills running back James Cook, right? Obviously, Dobbins had a really nice year, but he has the injuries. You need multiple running backs in this Chargers running offense. So the long story short here is when you look at all these reports, and this is just a snippet, right? We took this like the top three headlines of most recent on like any search engine search. If you go back a day, a week, a couple weeks, there's a million reports of the Chargers being hyper aggressive, going after numerous trades. And it's hard to figure out which direction the Chargers are going to go. Are they going wide receiver? Are they going running back, DB, interior offensive line? They're linked by a bunch of solid reporters and some kind of out there rumors and everywhere in between to a bunch of different trade options. And I think when there's this much smoke, there's fire. I think the Chargers are going to make a massive trade. I can't tell you which direction they go. I think wide receiver kind of makes sense. Cooper Kupp kind of seems like the most interesting name. Deebo Samuel has been linked there. And of course, Tyler Lockett's a wild card, as mentioned in one of these reports. I think veteran wide receiver makes the most sense, but they've got the cap space, $60 million plus. They've got some good assets. I think the Chargers are undeniably going to make a big time trade to get this roster better for 2025. And look, we know GM Joe Ortiz, he's made a few big trades. The Marcus Peters trade when he was with the Baltimore Ravens, he moved off of Joe Flacco and, of course, trading up in the draft, working for the Ravens when they got Lamar Jackson. He's no stranger to big time moves. And when you got all this smoke, like I said, there's fire. The Chargers they are going to make a massive move, I think, sooner rather than later. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Chargers fans in the comment section below, who do you want the Chargers to trade for? Of all these options we've listed or other ones that we didn't, there's certainly 100 of them, like I said, that the Chargers have been linked to. But name one guy that you really think the Chargers should trade for this offseason. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, give us your thoughts on just everything going on with the Los Angeles Chargers and who they might be targeting as a potential trade addition.
Yeah, I mean we've already covered some options before, even this, just to show you how much there is surrounding the Chargers. Miles Garrett to the Chargers has been an
Yeah.
option. We've talked about, Denzel Ward has been linked to. I think anybody who's everybody except for a quarterback has been linked to the Chargers, and maybe a couple of those. And you say, who are they going to go after? Why not everybody? It's like you said, why not try to fill every position? Why not get a running back? Why not get a wide receiver? Why not get a strong defensive piece? I think a corner or some sort of DB position would be really beneficial for the Chargers as well until they figure out what they're going to do with their edge rushers. I do believe they move off of Bosa, but do they keep Khalil Mack? We haven't seen the reports on that as of this time. So I think the Chargers have the cap space, like you said, to make some big moves, if not multiple moves this offseason. I think the receiver, is a need. It's not even just a want, like, gotta get a receiver in here. McConkey is really good, but the other guys, they're just mediocre in this day and age. You really need a more number one type of receiver. McConkey's great, but you'd rather have just a great guy, whether it's even a veteran guy like Tyler Lockett, who could be just a really great veteran piece on this team. Instant upgrade over the other two you have right now. I think that would be great. You look at the running back room, I think J.K. Dobbins at this point, it's not just last season. If you look at his entire career, he's never had a healthy season. He's a liability at this point because it just takes him getting hurt at the wrong time and your season's done. If he gets hurt right before the playoffs, it'd be devastating to his team. So I think going after a running back, James Cook, someone like that, someone, relatively cheap, but still really good running back, not one of the top name guys, would be a fantastic move for this Chargers team. And then secondary, I think that's a great move as well. I think you can't really go wrong. The Chargers are pretty good everywhere. Outside of quarterback, they're great everywhere else. They could use a little bit of an upgrade. There's nowhere that you say, hey, we're going to upgrade here, and you'd be like, oh, well, that makes sense. So I think the Chargers, they are ripe for choice. There's so many selections in front of them. They have the cap space. You can't really go wrong as long as the players are right. And with this new front office, I think they're bound to get these guys right. They've proven in the past they're both really adept at making the right selection when it comes to free agents.
And I love the fact you brought up the Bosa deal because this is a great point to end on here. They got $63 million in cap space, right? I just confirmed that over thecap.com. If they bring Khalil Mack on sort of a fair deal for both sides, we'll call it 15 million. It gets them down to 48. Just cutting Bosa or trading him for like a seventh round pick, that opens up $25 million in cap space. So realistically, if they retain Khalil Mack and get rid of Bosa, they will have $73 million in cap space. I mean, they could trade for half the guys that we mentioned. To your point, Miles, they could, why not them all, right? They have the assets to do it in terms of cap space. And this is an opportunity for the Chargers. The Chiefs look weaker than they've been in a long time. The Raiders are still the Raiders. The Broncos had a fun season for them, but I think they're limited talent-wise, and we don't know how good Bo Nix really is. This is a great opportunity for the Chargers. And look, I think they're going to take advantage of it. I think they're going to be hyper aggressive and make at least one massive trade and maybe multiple.